Every year when we promote the Best Lent Ever program experience, we talk about, don't give up chocolate for Lent this year. And it's not that we shouldn't give up chocolate, but it's the idea that is the focus of Lent for so many people. And while it is good for us to give something up, it's also good for us to do something very positive, is to take on a new habit. It's amazing how just watching these videos 2-3 minutes a day can set the tone for your day or set the theme for your day or impact you over the course of Lent. But I think it is important that we not lose sight of fasting as one of the central concepts of Lent. And why do we fast? It's been part of the Christian tradition since the beginning. It is something that has been rejected in large part by modern Christians. I think largely because we love comfort. We love convenience, we love comfort. And in a lot of ways, we do create a gospel of convenience, and fasting doesn't fit into the concept of convenience. Fasting doesn't fit into our gospel of convenience. And so we have thrown off fasting as a regular spiritual habit in the modern culture. And of course, the church wants to remind us during Lent that fasting is an essential component of the spiritual life. Why? Fasting, God uses fasting to liberate us. It's a fabulous story in the scriptures. Jesus sends out the disciples in twos and gives them power to do all sorts of things. And then when they're coming back, they encounter a couple of the disciples. They encounter this child, and they try to heal the child, but they can't. And then Jesus comes along, and bam, he takes care of it. He gets it done. And the disciples are like, well, hold on, Jesus. You sent us out. You told us we were going to be able to do the things you do. What happened here? Why couldn't we get this done? And Jesus says, some demons can only be cast out by prayer and fasting. There are times in your life, you think about what overwhelms you, you think about what enslaves you, you think about what gets you down or keeps you down. You think about what is the one thing that you're struggling with, or what's the one thing you've been struggling with for a decade or for 2 decades. And this is the message that Jesus has for us in those situations, because we're all struggling with something. You've got your thing, I got my thing. And it might change at different times in our lives, but we are all struggling with something. And Jesus' message to us in that is, guess what? Doesn't matter how strong your will is. You might have the strongest willpower of any person in your circle of influence. Willpower isn't going to get this done. Because you've tried, haven't you? You've tried to overcome that thing you're struggling with. You put all your mind strength into it, but it's still there. It still kicks your butt. And what Jesus is saying to us is, you can't do this. First thing you have to realize is you can't overcome this. It's bigger than you. You need me to help you overcome this. Some demons can only be cast out by prayer and fasting. What is it in your life that can only be cast out by prayer and fasting? And are you praying about it? Are you coming before God and saying, hey, God, I don't have this. I can't get this done. I've tried 100 times. Throw yourself on your mercy. I'm begging you to help me with this. When's the last time you begged God for anything? And maybe today's a good day. Because we are all struggling with something, and some of those things can only be overcome by prayer and fasting. So the first piece is prayer, is to throw ourselves on God's mercy, is to beg God to help us. But the second thing is the fasting. And that doesn't mean you go out into the desert and fast for 40 days on bread and water. But the little things each day, You want to have a Coke? You have a glass of water. What is fasting? It's that self-denial. It's saying, I will give something up. I will deny myself, my pleasure, my cravings, my self-interest. I will deny myself. I will fast. And maybe it is, you go whole day of just bread and water. And when we do that, we realize, wow, how truly weak we are, how truly dependent on God and on food and that we truly are. But fasting is central to the Christian experience. It's central to Christian spirituality. I can't tell you how you should fast. I think there's suggestions can be made. I think that we can look at other people and what's been successful for them, but ultimately only you can decide. Because God wants you to fast joyfully. And if I say you must do this, chances of you doing it joyfully are limited straight away. God wants you to deny yourself joyfully and to deny yourself for a purpose, on purpose, with purpose, for purpose. So what's the purpose? Maybe you're going to fast for some friend of yours who's sick. Maybe you're going to fast and offer up that suffering, however small, to God, to say, hey God, I'm struggling with this. I can't deal with it on my own. I really need you to help me overcome this challenge in my life. Because once you experience the power of fasting in your life, you'll be absolutely converted to its power. You'll give a place to it in your life forever. It's like so many things when it comes to God and church and religion. We talk about it, yeah, it's interesting, but once we experience it, that's when it changes us. That's when it makes us that new creation that Jesus talked about so often when he walked the earth. So fasting, rediscover fasting, get out, think about what is it, how can you employ it in your life, how is God inviting you to make it a part of your spirituality.